your turn to...
Oh, is it for me?
Consider yourself fired.
Why are you winking at me?
Consider yourself fired.
Hello, and welcome to the JT and Drew Show. I'm JT.
And I'm Drew.
And we're two nobodies talking about nothing.
Consider yourself fired. Well, hey, man. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks.
I hear we have just a jam-packed episode today.
Yeah, we do. Nothing too crazy, but just kind of get your take on a couple of things.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when we talk about things that are relevant to what's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, people for generations, we've talked about this before, back in my day, people were like this or things were like that. But it's interesting that, you and I, as we're living it, we can see where we were when we were growing up to how vastly different it is today. And seeing younger folks, and I say that, people in their late teens, 20s even, and just some of the stuff that is being circulated out there, the political topics or rumors or what have you. Because I know we talk about those sometimes on the show.
Yeah, sometimes.
But it's interesting to see or to hear what these people are actually regurgitating or what they're picking up and spitting back out or what they believe or what have you. You hear like, oh, these colleges are trying to indoctrinate kids or their schools are doing this or that. And some people are like, yeah, whatever. But then when you hear it, you're like, oh, yeah, maybe something is going on.
Yeah, well, it seems to be that, like you said, regurgitation of what people are saying is, people are only listening to one particular source of news or like a social media post or whatever, and they're thinking that that's it right there. They don't go out and they don't do, I wouldn't say research, but listen to another side. So,
sure.
I mean, I remember it kind of being young and dumb, but I would, my folks would say, you've got to hear, both sides of the stories, or you've got to get a different point of view. Don't just look at one. So it's definitely
absolutely.
It's definitely interesting to see how there's I wouldn't say a lot of people, but kind of like what you like to talk about, the squeaky wheel that's just being super annoying at this point with pushing false information.
Yeah. Well, and I'm all about having the open conversation. If you have a differing opinion or view, that's great. Let's talk about it. But when it's like you had mentioned a second ago, you already have your mind made up. You don't want to have a conversation. You just want to spit out what you want to spit out, and everyone else is wrong because they don't think the same way. Well, at that point, you've already shut down the conversation. It's just, I just need to get out my point, and you're wrong if you don't agree.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay if we disagree, I may still think you're wrong. You may still think I'm wrong. But be able to back it up. Hey, this is why I think you're wrong. This is why I believe what I believe.
Right. Well,
okay.
And that,
cool.
And it's okay to have a different opinion, not getting hurt on what other people say or what other people think, Yep. But
if everybody thought the same way, it would be a real boring place.
It really would, yeah. And you wouldn't have debates or discussions, everybody would be more or less robots.
Yeah, and nothing new would happen, right? Nothing productive would come of it. There wouldn't be innovation and, oh, hey, I never thought of that. That's a great idea. Let's run with it. Or, oh, hey, that's kind of a bad idea. Let's not do that. Here's why. Yeah. We're just all, like you said, robots. We're just operating and doing the same darn thing.
There's a movie that kind of, this is like a little kid's movie that kind of comes into mind saying this, where I think it was called Planet 51. Which was what we would consider an alien species of a different planet, where the universe was only 500 miles long, and yada, yada, yada. Well, then this human lands on it, and he changes one person or one being, changes their mind, tells them all about what we here on Earth have discovered, and kind of opens their mind to, hey, maybe we're not right. Maybe we need to rethink some things.
Yeah.
So, but like, the conversation can't be had if you've already made your mind up.
Yep.
So
you got to be open. You can have your mind made up, I think, but you got to be open to what the other party is saying. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it or you have to take it and internalize it, and that's my new view or my new outlook on things. But, okay, I see what you're saying. I can see how you came to that conclusion. I still think you're wrong, but, I'm validating that you have a real opinion.
yeah. Or you using these facts instead of what I've used on this particular subject. So, there's studies that are done by colleges and universities, and not every study, but there are a few that will differ from what most are saying.
Right. And
that's what strikes up the conversation. So,
faux show.
But the reason I'm talking about this is, I've seen, and I'm sure you have as well, and I'm sure our viewers have as well, where you start to question just the basics of what people believe. And for me, I'm going to dive into like patriotism,
okay,
backing your country, backing the Constitution. What is patriotism? It used to be, for the longest time, it used to be just putting yourself before your needs, putting yourself in the broader aspect of what does my country need? What, like the famous quote from John F. Kennedy, right? So don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, right? So that,
okay, yeah.
Kind of like, and to me, that's patriotism. The bigger scale or the bigger thing, what can I do that will make an impact for my country? And to me, that's patriotism.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I found an article earlier, and it's funny because the title of it is "What is Patriotism?" And this is back from 2009. It looks like Congressman Patrick McHenry wrote it. I don't know too much about McHenry.
Okay.
But he had said, according to Webster's, patriotism is, quote, love for and devotion to one's country. And he goes on to say that patriotism inspires us, it unites us, it fills our hearts with pride and optimism, and sometimes it brings us to tears. But I think that goes right along with what you were saying. It's about doing something that's bigger than yourself, or not even doing something, but believing in it, right?
Yeah.
You're believing in your country. That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a superiority complex, like, oh, well, we're number one and you suck, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, no.
But hey, I want what's best for my country. I want us to thrive in XYZ category.
Right.
Another article was saying, it was titled, "For some, patriotism is just a symptom of white privilege." It says, "What does being patriotic mean, and is it for everyone?" So this person from The Root, which is like a paper or a journal or what have you, they wrote an article saying that patriotism is for white people. He says that black Americans have not enjoyed the full benefits of liberty in the United States, and argues that the entire concept of patriotism grows from a colonial white supremacist state. So what are your thoughts on that?
I disagree with what the article said.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have facts, not feelings, brought into what they're saying.
Right.
I don't think that black Americans have not benefit from it. I'm not saying that bad things haven't happened to black people. I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that in this country where we learn what's right and what's wrong, and with each new generation that comes along, you stop and you think, and as you get older, you're like, maybe that actually wasn't right. You learn from it, and then we put it into laws or governing items, right?
Sure.
So, is patriotism white privilege? Or white supremacy? I full-fledged with every ounce of me disagree with that, because, like you, you're Mexican American, right? And there's no reason why you shouldn't have pride because you were born here. So you can have a patriotism towards this country. You can still have a liking or a pride towards your heritage. Nobody says you can't. I'm very proud to be an Irish Swede. But do I, hoorah Ireland or hoorah, Norway or Sweden? No, I don't. I'm an American. I'm an American first.
Well, and what I don't get, or what I disagree with as well, is where it says the concept of patriotism grows from a colonial white supremacist state. So to me, when I read that, what I'm understanding or taking away is that only here in the United States of America, patriotism comes from white people. Like it started here, it was born here, it's bred here, that's it. So there are no patriotic Africans, there are no patriotic Mexicans, there are no patriotic Europeans, the list goes on, right?
Right.
So I find that as a fallacy.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. Patriotism is not just American. I mean, Germans can be proud to be German.
Absolutely.
French can be proud to be French. You can have patriotism in your own right, in your own country. That's not just an American thing.
Yep.
It is here because we're Americans. But, I mean, you can have all sorts of pride and patriotism in your country because that's where you're from.
Yeah.
So, just to bring back to that article that you said that was from Roots, I mean, that's 100% wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, even bringing it down from the national level, from the country, like, for example, a lot of the country knows about Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And native Texans. And for the most part, or a large majority, Texans are proud to be Texan.
Yes, we are.
And they a lot of times make that very well known.
Yes, we do.
Some people disagree with that. Some people don't like it. Some people whatever. But people are proud of their states. Not everybody, but a lot of them.
Well, they should be.
I mean, look at, on a smaller scale, sports teams. Why do we have different sports teams for different states?
Mm-hmm.
In the old song, right? Root for the home team.
Mm-hmm. It's baseball, but
smaller scale, that's not necessarily patriotism for your country, but you're having pride for your team that represents your state or your city or your locality, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that white supremacy? No. I don't believe it is.
No. Exactly. But is that really considered patriotism? Would you consider rooting for your home team or anything like that a patriot? Unless you're a Patriots fan.
Unless you deflate footballs to win Super Bowls. No, I would consider that you're a fan. You're a fanatic, right? You're rooting for your team. You're all about your team. And, the beauty of it is you don't even have to be from that state. You could live in Texas and, hey, I really love the New York Jets. That's my team.
Yeah.
All right, cool. You root for them. But patriotism, circling back, because I went off in many different directions there,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do not agree that it is a colonial white supremacist state.
No, yeah, I don't.
So that would indicate that anybody here in the United States that is a person of color, whether they were born here, legally immigrated here, naturalized citizen, whatever the case, if they are not white, they are white supremacists because they are patriotic,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense to me.
No, that doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, you can still have pride and patriotism and not be racist.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do it every day.
Racist?
No. Pride and patriotism.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you and me. So there's something that's going around. I've seen it on TikTok. I'm sure our viewers have seen it, if they even have that platform that they watch. But the blackened American flag. And that's the only way I can describe it. It's just the American flag, but it's all black. It just kind of looks like it's charred.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've was really curious about it, and I didn't really dig too far into it, mainly because most of the articles that I had come across were just kind of the same language. But I'd like to know, first, what does the American flag mean to you? The red, white, and blue American flag. Oh, glory.
To me, I think I've gone through stages, right? So growing up, it was a flag represented my country. You know, you say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's a representation of freedom because we live in a free country.
Mm-hmm.
I think my view or opinion kind of evolved after joining the military.
Okay.
And kind of in my own opinion, I got a deeper understanding of it, and being deployed and, you know, going on remote tours and overseas and being away from family and all this stuff, and realizing as a uniformed service member, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes under the blanket of that flag.
Mm-hmm.
So I gained a new appreciation for it and a new appreciation for all the people that do that. But it still represents freedom. I think it definitely represents sacrifice. And it's a symbol of, you know, the United States of America and the ideals or ideas that we represent. And that's what frustrates me from time to time when, you know, certain politics are about, and it's, man, these politicians are going to this place and they're bad-mouthing, or these even celebrities travel and they bad-mouth the country and this and that. And it's like, it's one thing to go to Burger King and say, oh man, McDonald's sucks, don't eat there. Okay. But when you're traveling to another country or another venue or whatever your title is, that country represents you.
Yes.
And you're bad-mouthing it. And that's fine. That's your opinion. But then you're still going back and relying on all the protections and freedoms and safeties and everything that it provides you. Not saying that you can't disagree with any of it, but it's just something to kind of keep in the back of your nugget. You know, hey, I hate this place. It sucks. But I don't want to live anywhere else because I really like everything that I have and that it provides me. And okay, I mean, if you disagree with it that much, go find somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go find something else to do. Go whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's pride. It's freedom. It's sacrifice. It's I think that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And like you, when I joined, I got a kind of a better appreciation for not just the people currently serving, but the founding fathers and the soldiers, Marines, Navy, all them, Army, who fought for the flag when it was before it was a country, to think about the sacrifices that they made, the deep pride that they had for something that was going to be of something new, something that wasn't the old world. This is the new world. We're doing our own thing, and for it to have lasted as long as it's lasted is a wonderful thing. And I gave, you know, and I would think back, especially working 16-hour shifts in 130-degree weather in the desert, and you have nothing but time to think. You know, you would sit there and what were the guys who were fighting for the country, what were they thinking? What was going through their mind? What was all that? And just not knowing that you're not going to come back to your family.
Yeah.
And the sacrifices that the guys make today, seeing those wounded warriors come through and seeing, missing limbs or something like that, that's something that they're going to have to either recover from and try to make their life as normal as they can, or maybe some of them didn't make it and they made the ultimate sacrifice, and I was there was just working.
Well, it reminds me my dad had told me before I shipped out that I would gain a new appreciation and whatnot for the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really understand. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember in basic training, obviously you're learning everything. And they teach you, okay, when taps and reveille and, the end of the duty day and all that stuff, and you stop and the national anthem's being played and you render the proper respect, whether that's a salute or you're standing at attention or whatever the case is, you stop in that moment for that brief minute, 2 minutes, however long the song is playing for at that time, and you pay respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it starts to mean something more and more over time, or at least it did for me. And I remember, I'll never forget, in BMT, there was we were getting close to graduation, and there was a brand new flight. Song goes off. There we are, all at attention, saluting, all this stuff. This brand new flight, one or two of the guys didn't know what was going on, and they were carrying on like normal. As soon as that song was over, the national anthem, a TI ran over there and just ripped into them.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Rightly so.
And even to this day, like when it happens on base, it doesn't happen every day. Like I'm used to being overseas and whatnot. And you see people that are still driving, still walking, still whatever, oh yeah, the song's playing in the background, whatever. It gets to me, and that's just the old, crusty NCO, or that's just whatever. But it gets to me. It pisses me off. I'm like, no, you pull over, throw your hazards on, you wait.
Yep, you sure do. Well, I'm going to circle back to this blackened American flag and supposedly what it means, which is no quarters. It's meaning of patriotism, which, going off of your article, they're pushing a lot of articles out there, and I can't name all of them, but there are a lot of articles out there that are pushing that the blackened flag is rooted in white supremacy and racial injustice, and but there was one article that was saying that it's patriotism, but it also means no quarters, no prisoners, and a right to self-defense. And a lot of people are switching out the American flag for that black flag. Now, I'm not sure if the country is this tense. Like, I know there's a big divide right now.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm not sure if we've hit that point in our communities where we need to do that. I still think that a majority of Americans are kind of, let's just kind of see where the midterms go, and then maybe we'll see where the election goes before we do anything. But it seems like these people that are on these platforms, YouTube and TikTok and all that, are wanting, they're pushing, not an agenda, but they're pushing an idea that the country's more divided than what it really seems to be. And I'm not 100% on that. I would and this is a lot of people, we're probably going to get some emails on this one, but I would probably turn my flag upside down before I used the blackened flag, because rules of engagement, I mean, let's just say we have another civil war. Let's say we have one, okay?
Okay.
There's no way that I would not provide quarters or medical assistance or anything that would be for my counterpart, right? I mean, if they're wounded, I'm going to treat them. If somebody is in need of help, I'm still going to go out and I'm still going to help them. That's just who I am, and I think that's what America should be, you know.
Yeah. I don't think there shouldn't be any situation where it's neighbor against neighbor and we have different opinions, so I hate you, and if I see you, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
Now, if you break into my house and you're threatening my life, that's a different story.
Right.
But just, again, because of ideals, you know, oh, well, you fly the American flag in your yard, and I think that's racist. I disagree with it, so I hate you. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've got family members that are conservative. I've got family members that are liberal. I've got family members that are super liberal. But that doesn't mean that we're still not family.
Exactly.
Or that we can't have discussions, and maybe they get a little heated, and then, okay, we dial it down, or, okay, let's knock it off, whatever. But at the end of the day, all right, yeah, we're still family.
Exactly. You don't have to agree.
No.
But you still have that blood.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that's good. I'm glad that at least you and your family can. You know, my mom and I, we get into it every now and again. She's still my mom, you know. So
yeah. But it's good because it again, going back to the robots thing, we can disagree, and there may be some times that your mom has a different opinion, and okay, maybe you didn't see it from that point of view. That's interesting. Let me do a little more research on it, or vice versa, whether it happens or not. But that opportunity is there for growth, and for learning something new.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I had a conversation with my mom that she was saying a lot of stuff, and I told her, I said, well, you're only getting it from this one source. I said, why aren't you looking at other sources? And she said, because this is what's on the television. This is what's on my news feed. So I don't know where else to look for anything else. So this is what I'm telling you. And I said, well, you need to do a little bit more than just that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, and media is media, right? It should be unbiased. It should be reporting the facts and all this stuff. Obviously, we know today that that's not necessarily true. It's still a business. They have an agenda, or they have numbers to make, or whatever the case is. But yeah, look at multiple sources. You know, I'll default to what my uncle told me a long time ago. You know, believe nothing you see on TV, half of what you read, and everything you know to be true. That doesn't necessarily mean that, well, I know this to be true, so this has to be the way. But that reinforces okay, I saw this on TV. Let me see if I see that somewhere else on TV. Or let me go to Google, or let me look up some scholarly resources or whatnot. And then let me digest all of that. Let me come to my own conclusions.
Right. But I don't think that's what people are doing now. I mean, the mainstream media is wanting you either one way or the other. There is no middle ground.
Yeah, well, they have the knowledge, so they're going to tell you, and you need to just absorb it. After all, they know what's best for you.
They do. And it's not just left, you know, it's
it's
right
on both
as
sides.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So you, and with everything that's happening, I mean, you know, this show's going to come out, and something new is going to come up, and it's just boom, boom, boom every day. It just, you can't keep up with it. If you live in the media, or you live on that word, that could really cause a lot of stress for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't know if anyone outside, because, we've got a few listeners overseas. I don't know what kind of information is being pushed towards them, but, right now we have, at the time of this recording, Mar-a-Lago that just happened.
Yep.
And, if you saw it in another country, you would go, oh my gosh, that's a dictator, taking out his opponent. I'm so glad I don't live there. I live here where we don't do that. But, again, I did hear that on a far right media. Then I hear the exact opposite on the far left, where it's like, well, we're getting justice, and this had, the individual had it coming to him, and blah blah blah. Right. And it's like, well, okay, what do I do with this information? Like you said, you've got to digest it. Is it right? No, it's not right. I mean, what if that happened to you? What if that happened to your parents? What if that happened to your siblings? Would it be right?
Well, it's kind of like, I think of it like police when they respond to a domestic call. You get, in my scenario, I'll use a he and a she. You'll get his side, you'll get her side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Yep.
And what we're just now talking about with the media, you get the left side, you get the right side, you get some other independent side. Somewhere in there is truth, but they're not necessarily, it's not just flashing, hey, this is the truth. This is the truth.
Yeah.
They're representing it, each of them or all of them, as, hey, no, what I'm reporting are the facts. But that's, again, where you have to draw your conclusions and, okay, they're telling me this, but let me dig a little deeper. Is this actually true? Or, hey, they're telling me this, but this other side is telling me something different.
Right.
Okay, well, what is this other side saying? And, keep going and digging, and hopefully you'll find the truth.
Yeah, but at the same time, hopefully you don't fall into an Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole,
Yeah, that happens.
It really does. I'm gonna play a clip here, which is from TikTok.
Okay.
That kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about patriotism and all that, and then discuss it.
Do you think patriotism is a good thing?
I think it's one of the most awesome things that's ever happened in this country, is to believe in it, and be a part of it, and feel it, and love it, and maybe represent it.
Why?
Because people that don't believe in anything don't do anything for it. So this country wasn't made on a whole bunch of hugs and kisses and rainbows. It was made on people that bled and lived and died and believed in something that was better than themselves.
I fully agree with him. It's something that you've got to believe in. You've got to know where it come from. Freedom is not free.
No, absolutely not.
It takes sacrifice, and it sometimes takes a life. And
well, what was that quote? From time to time, the tree of liberty has to be shed with blood, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, it speaks to that clip that you just played.
Right. And he's on point. You've got to believe in it. If you don't, this country wasn't founded on hugs and kisses, right? And rainbows, which is funny. I like that.
Well, and it's not saying that you have to believe right, or you have to believe left, or if you don't believe in the current administration, you're wrong. But it goes back to the other saying of, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah. Well,
you have to figure out, what do you believe in?
Yeah, but having pride or patriotism is not in the president. It's in your countries. It's in your beliefs. It's in where the country needs to go. It's about the bigger picture, not just what's happening.
Look at I don't know, you remember just a few years ago, and I'm sure it still happens today a lot, but we were seeing celebrities and athletes that were kneeling for racial injustice or this or that. Right or wrong, agree, disagree, indifferent, whatever. But they were believing in something and standing up for it or kneeling for it.
Yeah,
They were doing what they thought was right for what they believed in.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Like,
instead of just, this place sucks, I hate it.
yeah.
Okay, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, and
how are you going to make it better?
And they did. You know, you can applaud them or you can hate them, but, you know, they did something about it.
Well, and I don't know if you ever grew up with this in the Air Force or not, but I had supervisors and mentors that would say, you know, don't come and complain unless you have a solution.
Yes.
Don't just come at me with the problems and, oh, well, you know, these airmen are messing up and this is an issue that I'm dealing with, or blah, 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 blah. It should be, hey, yeah, these airmen are messing up, or here's the issue that I'm dealing with. I think we could do this better, or I think we could do that, or implement this, or, you know, and then they can shoot it down or implement it or help you brainstorm or something. But come up with a solution.
Yeah.
Hey, this country sucks. I hate it. It's racist. I think we should do these things so that it's less racist, or whatever the cause is.
Yeah, right now they're just crying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like you said, that squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah. I didn't say that. You said that.
Oh, like I said, you said, I said.
Yeah.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah, hey. Love Casey and JoJo.
Just keep your hands off my hips, please.
Well, they don't lie.
No, these days they definitely don't.
But you have one. You have a clip.
Yeah. Let me play this clip. So a little background real quick. This guy is out on the street and he's interviewing people. They look to be in their early 20s. And he's asking them about American flags on T-shirts. And, like, what do they think about people that wear them? So let's go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
With an American flag on their shirt. Do you form any kind of opinion about them or no?
Yes, 100%. Yes, definitely.
And what is that?
Republican? Yeah, probably like a Trumpy. So they'd be the only ones like brave enough to wear it in public.
Brave enough to wear the American flag in public?
Yeah, like proud to wear it. Yeah.
Wearing an American flag on their shirt, do you racist?
Yes. Yeah, it's very racist. Patriotic for me. I think it's like more of like, a lot of people like correlate it with like racism and stuff like that.
It could be someone that's super patriotic, and usually I think that it's a little too much.
Too much?
Too much.
I mean, like, America, like, I would just walk away. We come from Kansas, so we are around that a lot.
So you guys are around a lot of American flags?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah. My take on that is I want to say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised. People believe that if you wear the American flag on a T-shirt, and the thing that always pops in my head is usually every year around June, July, Old Navy is selling patriotic 4th of July T-shirts with an American flag on it.
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah. And you know, as you heard in the clip, some of the answers were like, oh, first thing that comes to mind is they must be Republican. Or, oh, these people are really brave to wear an American flag on their shirt because they're in the United States.
Well, you can spin that and say, yeah, they are brave because they love their country.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got the folks on the other side that are saying, oh, those, to me, that means they're racist.
Yeah, to me, that's the line in the sand. You know, that's too far. But that last lady who said, yeah, we're from Kansas. We see this all the time. Yeah, that's the heart of the country. That's the main blood vein. And Kansas is very patriotic.
Well, and her argument, if you will, was, you know, F America.
Yeah.
I'm from Kansas. We see this all the time. So she's just tired of seeing it. Okay.
Well, then go somewhere else.
Yeah. It's just like, that's a very valid argument, I guess. Not
at all. So, yeah, man.
It's just interesting how you can live here, you can love it here, and some people say they don't, but they do. They have their jobs, their money, and the things they get to do, the freedoms, their freedom of speech, all these things. But somehow, if you wear a T-shirt with an American flag on it, you're a racist. No. So does that mean our military and they wear patches with American flags, they're all racist?
According to their logic, yes. But
it's just it's insane in the membrane.
It is,
friend.
yeah. But I wanted to say, at least for our overseas people, continue on, man. Have pride in your country. Have pride in what you do. Have, if you don't start the day off with a smile or a good thought, then, that's going to dictate your day. But always have pride in your country and what you do. Go France, go Germany, go all those other countries. The Republic of Lithuania, because I couldn't say that last time.
Heyo.
Heyo. In Finland. Some of the best snipers out in Finland. Holy mackerel. Yeah.
I was trying to think of what they eat over there. I don't know. I like food.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. That would be me. So, good show.
Yeah, that was real good. I enjoyed the discussion.
I did too. And hopefully you enjoyed listening to us. Again, to Nobody's Talking About Nothing. I think I've said that. I think this is the third show in a row I've said that.
Hey, I'm all for it, so keep it up. Have pride in the show, baby. And please, 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 please feel free to leave us a review. Go out on Google. Leave us a Google review. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or whatever platform it is that you prefer, leave us a review.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe. Let us know what you liked. Let us know what you didn't like.
Yep. And shoot us an email. It's at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
As always, we'd like to say thank you for stopping by and listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we realized that you could have been doing anything way more productive, but you chose to waste your time with us.
We look forward to talking about absolutely nothing with you next time.
If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please email us at
jtandrewshow@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/jtdrewshow.